Have you seen the Pittsburgh Steelers offense in the preseason? These boys been cooking with some juice. And you can hate on Kenny Pickett all you want to. Oh, he doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not the greatest athlete. It doesn't matter. Kenny Pickett gets the job done. I don't care about how bad his rookie season looks statistically. If you watched every single game that he played in, he got better every single game. And the majority of his interceptions came the first 4 games that he played in. Pittsburgh was 8-2 when TJ Watt was healthy and when Kenny Pickett came back from that concussion. If Kenny Pickett would have started week 1 last year, the Steelers would have made it to the playoffs. You remember when we lost to the Carolina Panthers? We were moving the ball up and down the field, but Mr. Trubisky kept turning over the football in the red zone. And Kenny Pickett, he looks so much confident. And I know that seems cliche. We seem to be saying that about every quarterback that has something to prove this year. But he really does. And he looks a little bigger. Don't lie. Doesn't Kenny Pickett's arms look like they got a little bit bigger? And his arm, it kind of looked like it got a little bit stronger. In the preseason, these touchdowns that I've seen him throw, like the one to George Pickens against the Bucks, they came out with some juice. And he's been making a lot of tight window throws. He wasn't making those same amount of throws last season in tight windows. As a matter of fact, he was kind of conservative last year. This season, he just has so much more confidence in his arm strength. The fact that he's more willing to stand in the pocket a little bit longer. A big problem with him coming out of Pitt was that he didn't have enough patience in the pocket. He'll wait, one read, and just automatically flush out of that boy. Kenny Pickett is really starting to grow up. I'm nearly about to shed a tear because I was kind of shitting on Kenny Pickett when he got drafted. Y'all remember I wanted Malik Willis. Now, obviously, I look like a fool now because how Kenny Pickett's looking, but don't act like some of y'all boys wasn't talking about how y'all was rooting for Mitch Trubisky. Come on now. Some of y'all thought that Mitch Trubisky should have started all last season around this time off season. But I'm really proud of Kenny Pickett. Anytime somebody come for Kenny Pickett on any social media platform, I'm one of the first people to defend him, man. I don't care if Kenny Pickett isn't a top 5 quarterback or a top 10 quarterback. What impressed me the most about Kenny Pickett is the fact that every time the game was on the line, near the end of the season, he came through in the biggest moments. And that reminds me a lot of Big Ben. Y'all remember how Big Ben was? This dude would come out, throw 3-4 interceptions, and then the full quarter, you only down by 3 points because this fool got on fire. That's Kenny Pickett, man. I'm proud to say that Kenny Pickett is the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe in him. You feel me? I know I kind of hated on him when we drafted him, but I believe in him. He has my full support. I have all the confidence in the world that Kenny Pickett is going to be that dude for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know it's the preseason, but I was looking for growth. I like what I've been seeing out of Kenny Pickett. Now, this running back situation, we might have a problem brewing here. And it's not a bad problem. But I'm going to just say this. Jaylen Warren, I don't think the gap between him and Najee is big. And Jaylen Warren, his pops just subscribed to the channel because we covered him a lot when he was playing at Oklahoma State. So shout out to Jaylen Warren's pops if you're watching this. Your boy's a baller. This dude had a 62-yard touchdown run in the preseason win against the Buffalo Bills. Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris should probably be splitting RB1 carries. And that's a good thing when it comes to Najee Harris situation because Steeler fans for the longest have been complaining how we just run our running backs into the dirt. You know how we ran Le'Veon his first couple of years. You saw how we did James Conner. And you see how we've been working Najee Harris his first couple of years. So Steeler fans have been looking for a good RB2. You don't have an RB2. You have 2 RB1s. That's how good I think Jaylen Warren is. He's not the same style runner that Najee is. Najee's more north and south. He does have a little bit more agility for a guy his size. And he's really good catching the ball out of the backfield. But Jaylen Warren's faster. He has more acceleration. He's more elusive, It's just really good to have two different style backs because it gives you a good change of pace. Change of pace back is thrown out way too loosely today. A change of pace back to me is somebody who just has a different running style than your starting running back. I think that's why they kind of call it change of pace. One guy may be slower than the other one is a lot faster, but I don't really know the definition, but all I know is that Jaylen Warren, I think he's really special. I think the Steelers got really lucky to snag Jaylen Warren up as a UDFA last year. I covered him a lot at Oklahoma State. He was a dog. So the fact that you got two really good running backs, this run game should be as good as it's ever been. The last time the Steelers had two good running backs was when they had Le'Veon Bell and DeAngelo Williams. You remember when DeAngelo Williams was filling in for Le'Veon Bell when he was suspended and he was going off? He was leading the NFL in rushing at one point. We got to have two really good RB1 caliber running backs on this roster. Now, unfortunately, if you're a fan of fantasy football and you got Najee Harris, you probably might want to try to shop him around. He probably will still get a lot of touchdowns because Jaylen Warren isn't going to get goal line work, but Jaylen Warren probably could get a legitimate amount of carries this year. Don't be surprised if he gets like 150 carries this year. And plus, he's just more elusive in the open field. When we look at the receivers, though, Allen Robinson is going to be a really good addition. You got to remember that getting Allen Robinson filled a big need that Pittsburgh has kind of been trying to fill for a while. They've been trying to find a big body, explosive wide receiver for a brick. Outside of George Pickens, the Steelers haven't really had a lot of success with big physical wide receivers. The Steelers have been successful at drafting smaller receivers like Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders. But when it comes to bigger body wide receivers, George Pickens has probably been the most successful one they've had outside of Martavis Bryant and maybe Juju Smith-Schuster if you want to count him. But you remember the failed experiment when they signed Dante Moncrief? So you get Allen Robinson, he's going to just bring a different element to the offense, that big slot wide receiver. And then you have Deontay Johnson, who's one of the best route runners in the NFL. He can do all the dirty work inside, and George Pickens can be your big, deep threat, red zone target downfield. And we can't forget about Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington. Darnell Washington is a monster. People were crapping on Darnell Washington for how he looked week one of training camp, but he's not one of those players that looks good without pads on. This dude is a true football player. So the weapons that Kenny Pickett has to throw the football to, and with how good this offensive line looks, they're calling it the Pickett fence. The Steelers, to me, I think their offense is extremely underrated going into the upcoming 2023 NFL season. Kenny Pickett looks poised for a breakout season. George Pickens looks like he's going to be poised for a breakout year as well. The Pickett to Pickens connection is going to be worldwide this year. I'm really excited for the Steelers offense this season.